What is up, YouTube? This is PZScene here. Today I'm going to show you how you can disassemble your new Rubik's Cube 2.0. This is the cube that doesn't have stickers. It actually has tiles on it. Also, this is not the Speed Cube model. This is the normal one that you can go to Walmart and buy. So let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, so here we go. The first step of taking this cube apart is actually fairly familiar. Alright, you're going to take the top layer and turn it 45 degrees, just like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come under here, you're going to kind of pull up on this edge. Okay, you're going to try and pull it up. Now it's not going to come out. Don't try to force it out. Instead, what you're going to do, and you'll note that I've actually changed my grip to where my middle finger is over it, and I'm actually kind of holding the cube like this, because it just gives me more leverage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my other hand, and I'm going to pull this corner over this way. So I'm basically just going to pull the corner that way. And when I do that, it makes it easier to pop this piece out. It gives it more room. And then these two corners, you're just going to kind of have to finagle them out. Don't be forceful with it. Don't try and break them, but just kind of maybe turn this 45 degrees, bring this down, and then that'll fall out in there. Alright, so now what you want to do is just again twist this again like that. Then maybe what you can do here is just bring this out of the way a little bit, just kind of there like that, and then pop that out. And just sort of keep twisting the top layer around and just sort of taking pieces out. Once you get to this stage, you can then just sort of start twisting, and the cube will just start to crumble in your hands. And there we go. Completely massacred. And here we go. This is the core. This is actually identical to the Speed Cube, except for the fact that you cannot pop these centers off. That literally is the only difference between the standard Rubik's Cube and the Rubik's Speed Cube, is the fact that you can actually pop the center caps off of the Speed Cube and not off of this cube. Otherwise, they are exactly the same thing. Now, if you want to, you can actually take this core apart. I have been working on that now for the past hour, and I simply can't get it apart. If you want to try it yourself, there are tabs. There's a tab right here, right there, and then here and here. What you do is you take your fingers and you push in these tabs, and while you're pushing them in, the core will start to come apart, and then you kind of have to, while pushing the tabs in, pull the core apart. And it's really hard. My fingers are quite sore. Even from doing it that one time, they are quite sore. So it is doable. I've seen it done, but I'm just not going to show it in this tutorial because it's not worth it to me. But it is doable, and if you have a more reliable way of doing it, please feel free to let us know in the comments down below. Alright, so let's actually take a quick look at what makes this cube different to the previous generation Rubik's Cube. So here we have the core. As I say, it's actually a ball core. The springs are inside of this ball, and due to the nature of this thing, no matter how tight the screws are, it's actually going to retain the same tensions, which is really cool. So if you were to get the Speed Cube version of this, you can really make sure that your screws will not back out on you by tightening them down and giving them a little bit of extra snugging, because it won't affect the tension otherwise. What affects the tension is actually the springs inside of this thing itself. So that's actually really quite cool in my opinion. Also in the Speed Cube, you do get replacement screws that you can actually swap out and put in the different ones for different tensions and whatnot. So that's cool. If you get the normal one from Walmart, you're not going to get any of that. You're just going to get the cube. So yeah. But let's take a look at the previous version of the Rubik's core. As you'll see right here, we are looking at the green center. You'll see it's just a straight down. It does have a little curve to it at the bottom, just to make it easier for pieces to go through it. But you'll notice that along the sides it just goes straight down. Alright? Now, taking a look at the new core, you will see that we have a little bit of extra surface area on the bottom. Alright? That allows edge pieces to hold on to more than just, again, if we take this and just that. So you can see there we have that. I just popped it out like such. And then here we've got that, and I'm not popping, well, I guess I am popping it out, but it took a lot more effort, so that's all that matters. Alright, so anyways, let's actually take a look at an edge piece now. As you can see, compared to the old one, they look really different. Same general design. We've got just the tail right here. On this one though, it's just a simple square, really boxy tail going on here. Whereas on this one, we've got more of a rounder design on the bottom here to accommodate the ball core. You'll see that we have these little hooks on either side, and we'll come back to those here in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the corner piece. Now the corner piece, and again, here's the old one. The old one just has this ridiculously small corner, it just has this ridiculously small tail right here. It worked, but again, it's just really, really small, so yeah, doesn't have a lot to hold on to. But on this one, it obviously, as you can see, the tail is a lot larger. And coming back to the hooks on the edge piece, these actually also have hooks. So the way these two pieces fit together, like this, if you look back here, you'll actually see that they kind of hook together. They kind of interlock. So that is a lot of space between the two hooks, but it's just sort of a popping prevention mechanism. So if you were to kind of get a pop, that's just sort of a last-ditch attempt to try and hold that piece captive within the puzzle, so that way you don't lose it or it doesn't go flying. So, very cool design. Rubik's has definitely done something good with the new Rubik's Cubes. At this point, if you so desire, go ahead and organize out your pieces. If you want, you can actually use this system. All I did, all the edges with white in it are down the bottom, all the stickers with yellow in them are in the middle, and then these are all the extra ones. I kind of tried to keep some sort of system going with that, but whatever. And then over here, very simple, these all have white in them, and these are the corners with yellow in them. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's put this crazy thing back together. Now, putting it back together is actually pretty familiar to those of you who have taken apart and reassembled previous versions of the Rubik's Cube, but just due to the new design of the mechanism and the whole anti-popping deal, it's a little bit awkward. But you should be able to work your way around it. So let's go ahead and start. Go ahead and grab yourself an edge. Alright, figure out where it goes. Now, before you go ahead and put your first edge in, turn one of the centers 45 degrees, just like that. And then take this edge, put the tail piece right here underneath the centerpiece, and then you can actually twist this into place like that. As you'll see, there's the edge piece. It's in. Now go ahead and take an adjacent edge piece. Let's take white and orange. Do the same thing. I'm actually going to turn the orange center 45 degrees this time, and then again underneath, go ahead and twist this into place. And there we go, we have an L. You can actually continue this out into a cross, but I'm just going to go and build this off of a corner. So go ahead and take the corner, and what you're going to do, I'm going to twist the yellow one 45 degrees so that way I have a lot more clearance right there, as you can see. And I'm going to take my corner, and at an angle I'm just going to kind of slide it in like that. Okay? You'll figure these things out as you go along, but it's just a little bit different due to the nature of the mechanism. So now let's take this edge and go ahead and flip it the right way, and this one can simply just slide in like that. Takes a little bit of force, but not much. Alright, so just go ahead and continue doing that until you get to the final layer. Alright, when we get to that point, I will come back on and explain more. So here we go. Perfect. Here we go. Now we are on to the final layer. So again, it's pretty easy at the start, but it is going to get a little bit more interesting as you continue along. So for the first edge, go ahead and again have your center turned 45 degrees, and then go ahead and turn one of these slightly out of the way, just to make for more clearance. Try and get this underneath there, and it will just sort of pop in, just like that. Now take a corner, and go ahead and fit that in there. And take the next edge, which is this one, if I can get it. Go ahead again, 45 degrees, a little bit out of the way. Actually, let's turn the orange one, just so that way we don't affect the corner too much. Pop that into there, and bam. Take the next corner, and pop it into place. Again, just kind of work things up. Let's take the next edge out of the way. Bam. Alright, so sorry about that. My SD card actually filled up, which is a rarity. So again, we're at the last three pieces. This is where things start to get a little bit interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with the corners. So go ahead and take a corner and try to put it in there. Now it's going to take a little bit of finagling. My knees are in absolute pain right now. It's going to take a little bit of finagling, but just kind of work things out of the way. Maybe sort of turn this, I don't know, just kind of pry these down. There we go. You're just going to have to figure out a way to get it in there. It's just don't force anything. Don't try and break anything. And then go ahead and put the next one in. Again, the reason why we're putting the corners in first is because the corner actually goes underneath the edge, as I showed earlier in the video. So the corner goes underneath. Let's fit it in there. It'll be a little bit more difficult just due to the fact that you already have another one in there, so it'll get in the way a little bit. Just figure some kind of a system out. There we go. And then it's time for the edge. Now for the edge, go ahead and turn this 45 degrees, angle it like this, and then just kind of dip it in. Alright, get it as far in there as you can, kind of pull this apart, pull this corner away, like this, or pull it this way. And then go ahead and get the tail of get the back of the tail of the edge piece and try and get it underneath the yellow. If it's getting caught in front, just try and unhook it from the front. There you go. The main thing you want to do is get that hooked on the underside of the yellow center. And then just kind of pry this apart and even pull this down a little bit. It takes a little bit of force, but with that main thing here, again, just sort of pulling this down and move this just kind of fudge it in there. There we go. So when you pull this down, it actually allows the other side of the tail to get underneath there, and that's how it actually flips in. And there you go. I need water. And there you go. That is how to disassemble and reassemble the new Rubik's Cube 2.0. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching, and adios. Now that's more like it.